morning. Tian here, and today I am following up to the post I did yesterday. In yesterday's post, I was talking about my 90-day sprint to a goal that I set for myself. A pretty ambitious goal, a scary goal, one might say, but I know it's possible because I've done it before and I know I can do it again. So with this goal, I'm trying to be more proactive and create a launch plan that's more comprehensive, daily, weekly, and weave it all together so that it's a strategy and not just a bunch of random tactics that don't necessarily come together. So what I've done is I've created things I need to do weekly, such as, okay, social media. What am I going to do on week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4? What are the types of posts I'm going to create? I also have things like one of the things that I want to do and I'm going to do is relaunch my podcast and create more of a strategy around this thing that I'm promoting for the next 90 days. So if you forgot, the 90-day sprint is me doing this comprehensive launch of something for 90 days to hit a particular goal. And it's called a 90-day sprint because it's a limited amount of time. It's a specific, timely, goal-setting strategy where you know you only have 90 days. So you can do a lot in 90 days. And it's not just like, it's not something random like I'll do this goal that you set in January with no real end date. This has a real start and an end date. My start date is next week and my end date is 90 days later. Okay, so that should get me into early December, which is perfect. So what I've done is create different buckets of things I want to do, such as email and social media and things like that. And then of all those buckets, I've created weekly things that I need to do. And this is something I talk about in Pattern Partnership a lot, is about creating things to do that generate revenue. That's daily activities that you do to generate revenue. And some people are like, well, I don't have time to do social media. I don't have time to market. You don't have time to not do those things. You cannot afford not to do those things in your business. If you are a designer, yarn store, tech editor, you need to be marketing. That should be the bulk of what you do because you need clients, you need customers. So with my 90-day sprint, I'm breaking it down into weekly activities. And then within those weeks, I'll have like, okay, on this day I'll do email, and this day I'll do email or something else, or podcast or something. And that's the other thing. I'm bringing back my podcast. Real Talk with Tian is coming back. I have a few weeks of things that I want to talk about specifically to this campaign that I think would really push me to be more creative, more thoughtful, and create more content around this particular thing that will live on. So after this launch is over, or after this 90-day sprint is over, that content's still going to be out there. Okay? And then let's see what else. So I'm going to do the podcast again. I'm going to do emails and things like that. So one of the things that I talk about inside of Pattern Partnership is about the launch plan. So it starts with a pre-launch. So the pre-launch is where you're like setting up like pre-orders and things like that. And, like pre-orders, get people into like buy your stuff before it's actually out there. But before you even do that, there's a period where you need to be compiling like testimonials and content and pulling stuff together to get ready. And that's where I am this week. Usually I take about a month for this phase, but because I started this process so quickly, I don't have a lot of time, and that's fine because I have the time. So this is my pre-launch phase where I'm pulling things together. I'm pulling in testimonials. I'm pulling in content that I posted before. I'm compiling all that stuff. So when it's time to launch, I have all that stuff. I'm not going to search for it in like week 6 and 7 and 8 and trying to find stuff. I'm already like compiling stuff, putting it in a spreadsheet, putting it in a folder so I have it all there. So that's part of the launch process that is so important, that so many people overlook, is that beginning phase where you're pulling all your information. You're doing, what I'm doing with this daily activity where I'm talking about what I'm going to post, what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to do, right? You need to think about that before you even launch. And then, so I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing email blitz, I'm doing social media, I want to figure out some collaboration. The timing might not work, but that's fine. And then I'm thinking of doing like some live Q&A, webinar type things, where folks can come on and ask me specific questions, things like that. So having this list of things to do every week and then break it down into days is making my life so much easier. I mean, to come up with a list in the beginning, it was super hard. I'm not going to lie. This is not something that you just sit down and be like, oh, I'm going to go do. No, this takes years of me knowing my business, knowing what I've done in past launches, and really like honing in on what I need to do now to put it all together. And this is something that I help my one-on-one clients with. This is something I help my students in Pattern Partnership with. They book their one-on-one call every month, and we get on and we talk about things like this. We talk about how to figure out your launch, how to figure out your email, how to like set up a lead magnet, and how to figure out things like your email funnel, things like that. So all that stuff that I teach myself, my all those things that I teach my students and that I've used in previous launch, I'm pulling it all together into this 90-day sprint. And this is going to be so exciting, but it's also going to be scary because it could all flop, right? It all could totally fail. And that's something I think about every time I launch something. It could fail. But the thing that saves me from like going down that spiral is, okay, so the launch didn't go so well. I've had that happen before. I have historical data that the launch might not go well, but then I do really, really well afterwards, right? So my strategy is not to pin all my hopes on the actual launch, but to really understand how to use that information I'm collecting into the post-launch. What am I going to keep doing? Like when I launched my book, Cardigans for Everybody, it didn't sell the amount of copies that I hoped in that launch. It didn't do blockbusters. It didn't hit number 1 on, any of those lists, but it's doing really, really well. And that's because I continue to talk about it. I continue to share about it. I continue to reach folks who need that information, because I understand the buy-in cycle for a lot of folks isn't to just be early adopters. They don't just all buy on that first day. There are folks who need time to get to know the product and get to know, is it going to work for them? And there are folks who maybe couldn't afford it when I first launched it and they had to save up for it. Or there are folks who are now just meeting me for the first time and they're getting excited about the product. So if I had just stopped talking about Cardigans for Everybody way back in 2023, I wouldn't have met so many of the amazing folks who are just saying now, I just found you, I just bought the book, it's changed my life, I'm making sweaters that fit me, which is so exciting. That's what I want. I want folks who don't have standard size bodies. They might have long arms, short torso, wide shoulders, whatever. It's not just about being bigger or smaller. It's about your features that don't fit the standard sizing. I want you to be able to see yourself and love yourself, understand yourself, and I want to give you the encouragement and to empower you that even though you might have big arms like I do, you can still make sweaters that fit you, right? And I want you to understand, like, gauge is important, swatching is important, all these things are super important, and they're not punishment. They're not a waste of your time. They are important to you. So that's what I wanted to pop on here real quick to talk to you about. I wanted to share with you, how I'm really getting ready to do this 90-day sprint. And if you are like, I want to join in, I want to learn what you're doing, come on over. Come on over in Pattern Partnership. Book your one-on-one session with me, and we can walk through a 90-day strategy for you to get you started. And it doesn't matter if you're like, I have 5 patterns or 500 patterns, or you have 5 followers or 5,000 followers, right? There is a strategy that we can build for you for where you're at right now. And this is just me using this space for accountability, but it's also to show you what is possible. And also, so that's it. I'm just going through and making my week 1 list of things to do, and week 1 will be next week for me, because like I said, I'm getting out of the gate with this thing really fast. But I have some emails I want to pre-write. I have some social media posts I want to pre-write, get all the graphics and things like that up. There's podcasts I want to record. Like I said, I'm bringing back the Real Talk with TN podcast. If you are not familiar with it, go check it out. I have a bunch of episodes over on Spotify. So it's Real Talk with TN. And we talk about a lot of different things. But for this 90-day sprint, I'm going to do maybe 6 podcast episodes, and it's going to be just around this thing. And I think I'm going to record them in like a few days just so I can have it done. But that's the plan. That's what a 90-day sprint look like. It looks like you coming up with a strategy, not just a bunch of random tactics like, post 5 times a day, No, I want you to figure out what you're posting, to figure out who your audience is. What do they want from you? What do you need to be talking to them about? And get clarity on how you're going to roll this thing out to them. Because you don't want to just post like, I have a sweater pattern and it's here. And then 2 days later, it's still on sale. And then you never talk to people again. Right? And I see that all the time. I see folks like, no one's buying my thing because I've posted it everywhere. You posted it 2 or 3 times. That's not everywhere, and that's not all the time. And you're not telling folks why it matters to them. You're telling them about the price. You're telling them about the discount. Yeah, those are great. You're telling them about it being a top-down or versus a bottom-up socks. That's great. But why does it matter to them? How would it fit into their lives? Right? Is it teaching them something new? Is it going to transform them in some sort of way? Get deep into that and talk about that. And that's what my focus is going to be. I'm going to be talking to my ideal audience. I'm going to be sharing things that I really want them to understand about this thing and how it fits into their lives and how it can actually change their lives. I know knitting and crocheting, you're like, it's not rocket science. No, but it has the ability to change lives. Knitting and crocheting can change lives. And I'm living proof because it changed my life. And I want that for my audience. I want that for the folks who will be watching all the stuff, all these marketing stuff I'm putting out there. Because it's not just me shouting promo, sale, blah, blah, blah. No, marketing, it's about conversations. And I want to have conversations with my audience and really show them that this thing is for them and how it can transform their lives. So that's what I'm working on. The podcast is coming back. You'll see a lot of emails. If you have questions, please let me know in the comments. If you don't want to make it public, DM me. If you are a part of Pattern Partnership, go ahead and just book your one-on-one session. Let's figure out a 90-day sprint for your business, for what you want to launch. And it doesn't have to be something brand new, right? This could be something that you've launched before. It could be a bundle. It could be whatever that you just want to have some new eyes on, you want to hit a new goal with, or whatever you want to do. So if this is you're already in Pattern Partnership, just book your session. Let's chat. The schedule is up. If you are not part of Pattern Partnership and you still want to get some support on this, you can either join Pattern Partnership and book a one-on-one. There is a monthly option on there, or you can book a Launch by Design 1-hour session with me. And those sessions are pretty intensive. They're recorded, so you don't have to worry about taking notes and stuff like that. So they're recorded. You'll get a copy at the end. And how those work is that you book your session, you make your payment. I'll send you an email. Make sure you check your spam. I'll send you an email, and you will fill out your intake form so we can figure out exactly where you need help with. I'll go away, do some research, and then on the day of our session, we'll get together, we'll get onto Zoom, we will nail this thing out, we'll figure out exactly what you need help with, step by step. It's just me and you. The call is recorded. You don't have to worry about taking copious notes. It's recorded. You'll get a copy at the end, and then you can review it, right? But if Launch by Design is like, oh, that's too expensive, I can't afford that right now, it's not in my budget, then your best option will be to join Pattern Partnership, because it's a monthly membership. It's $52 a month, and you get all the trainings that's in there. You get access to everything that's already in there. But the biggest thing is that you get 30 minutes of one-on-one with me. And it doesn't have to be once a month. It depends on how much time is available, because there's other folks who are booking time. But if there's time in there and you can get 2 or 3 sessions in a month, go for it, right? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help, because I really love talking about this stuff, and I really love seeing my clients, my designers who are like, I barely sold a pattern, to go into like, yeah, I just launched a pattern and I sold 300 copies and it's still selling. Those are the kind of results that I live for, right? Or a designer who is like, oh, this pattern that I launched, I've sold more of this pattern than all my other patterns combined ever. So those are the kind of numbers I want to see for you. And I know it's possible, but you gotta be willing to do the work. It's not gonna be just sunshine and ponies and all that stuff. There's a lot of hard work. And from what I'm showing you here, well, you can't see it, but from what I'll be doing with my 90-day sprint, if what I'm showing you or telling you is a lot for 90 days, imagine how much you'll have to do. Especially if you've never done a lot of the things that we'll be doing. But that's okay. I'll walk you through it. I'll be there for you. And if you're in the membership, you'll always have access to me. So that would be my best option for a lot of folks, is to take advantage of joining the membership. There are courses in there. There's the pattern grading course. That's my popular course. So many folks have taken that course and are now grading patterns like pros. So for $52 a month, you can get that whole course, and that course is like over $1,000 by itself. So that's money in your pocket, right? So, and then plus you get access to me all the time, right? Either in the Facebook group or email, or just book your one-on-one and we'll jump on a call, within 48 to a week time notice, and we'll bang it out and figure out exactly what you need. And a lot of times it's not that you need like step by step. Sometimes it's just that you need somebody to say you can do it. It's just that motivation, somebody believing that you can do it. And that has helped me a lot with my coach, because sometimes I know exactly what I need to do. I just need somebody to like, girl, just do it. And that's what I feel like I can do for a lot of you guys. So hopefully this has been helpful. I might be back again, maybe tomorrow or next week, when I start. If you follow me on here at Tian Connaughton Instagram, or at my Knit Designs by Tian Instagram, you'll probably see exactly what the launch is, the 90-day sprint. Follow along. If you can spot what I'm doing, great. But if you're just like, I see it, but it doesn't look much different than what you've always done, that's kind of the point, but it's not the entire point. I want to bring more folks into my audience. I want to bring in new people, and then I want to nurture the folks that are already there, like you guys. So if you're just like, I don't know, I can't understand exactly what you're doing, and you need some help because you want to try this too, DM me, let me know. We can figure out something out. Okay? Thank you so much, and this is going to be amazing, and I hope that you will join me. You will come along. You will try this 90-day sprint for yourself, because I think this is a great exercise to figure out how to launch, and it's creating repeatable systems. Like, this isn't like a one and done. I'm going to use this over and over, right? The content I'm creating now is going to be stuff I use over and over, because as I get older, I'm getting lazy, and I don't need to be out here acting like a 20-year-old posting like mad. And so hopefully you'll be inspired to try. Hopefully you'll have questions and that I can help you with. If you want to just pop in and send me a message, that'll be great. I'm always here to support you. All right, so that's it. Bye for now.